Hey, good morning, guys. Look, wait, first of all, before we get started, check out this brand new door we got. This is our Christmas gift from Heather's dad, and it is awesome. We have had a junky door on this shop for my entire life, I think. But you know what, it was good enough. And the problem recently is that it doesn't really stay latched, and so we're trying to keep some heat in here, and the next thing you know, you walk past and this door is hanging open. So, brand new, super tight, awesome door. Thanks, Randy. Anyway, in other good news, we got the truck back in here, and we are making great progress on this thing. So we had this issue with it, the random misfire. So we put new plugs and wires on. That didn't change anything, still had the random misfire. We messed around, we put some new coils on, also didn't change anything. And so I was talking to a friend of mine, and he suggested to dig into the fuel system a little bit. And so we did, and here, let me show you what we did. All right, so if you remember, or maybe I didn't even tell you, but the problem that we were having was cylinder 7 and 8 were misfiring, the back two cylinders. We went to the shop down the road here that does a lot of work for us, and that they put on their scan tool. He told me it's 7 and 8 that are misfiring. He could see on the live data. So anyway, I thought that was interesting that it was the back two cylinders, and it seemed like it must be something about being at the back versus just something about a worn out part. It seemed random that they would have, been both at the back. So anyway, talking to a friend of mine, he said, I bet you have a stuck injector or crud in the fuel rail. So this is the fuel rail right here. This is that runs and connects all the injectors on this side. There's another fuel rail on this side. I don't know if you can see it, it's not super bright there, but this is the fuel rail on that side. But this is a returnless system. That means that it does not flow fuel back to the tank. So any fuel that comes up into the fuel rail stays there, it never leaves, which makes this especially prone to getting dirt in here. Got my little flashlight out. So the rail and the fuel enters right here, comes in here. This Y pipe goes over the other side, and then it comes in here. And this, the very back cylinder, is the dead end of the fuel rail on this direction. So anyway, we pulled this apart, pulled these fuel rails apart, and I dumped out the fuel in it. And the fuel in those fuel rails was brown. It looked like junk. So we took out the injectors then out of the fuel rail, and the back injectors were filled up with crud. I mean, I could actually see the dirt down in the injectors. So we cleaned them all out with some brake clean, electrical parts cleaner, and blew them out, cleaned them all up, cleaned out the fuel rail, put it all back together, and the thing runs like a top. It runs so good. No more random misfire, and I think we're back in action. So it didn't even require any parts, just require a little bit of attention. So those are the perfect problems for someone like me. So anyway, I'm super excited. We got this thing running nice. We do have one more check engine code, and that is something about the evaporative fuel system. And we're gonna check that out here now yet, see if we can get that fixed yet. So the code that we're having is a P0449 code, and from what I've been reading, it's almost entirely or almost always related to this guy. This is the vent solenoid that's out by the tank. So this thing opens and closes to vent the tank, but closes to seal the tank when they don't want any vapors to get out. So we're gonna check this thing out here real quick. This thing was up underneath the frame rail right there, kind of by the fuel tank. So I'm gonna test this thing, see if we can make it click. We might just have to replace it. Hopefully that takes care of our problems. So I have this little 12-volt battery that I like to use just as a tester for things like this. And it was dead, and I put it on the charger yesterday, and oh my word, look what happened. This thing, apparently I charged it too much. I think that my thing might be dead. So anyway, I got another battery. We're gonna try it again, but a little bit more gentle this time. So even though I like made it all fat, it still has 13 volts on here. So we're gonna use this one for now while the other one charges. What we're looking for here is to see if this thing clicks when we give it 12 volts. Nothing. So I guess that's our problem. Let's see if I can grab one of these things today and maybe that'll get us going. You can see how bad this bed is. It's really bad. Look at it back here. It's crazy. It's mainly around the sides. I'm guessing maybe because these toolboxes and stuff were here, that stuff laid on here, but it's really bad. All right, so I think what's next for this truck is we're gonna try to get this old rusty bed off. We'd like to, like I said before, we'd like to put the bed from the other truck on this, but the main problem that we have right now is this truck is a little bit shorter. So what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna try to stretch out the frame rails a little bit on this guy, and then we can use our 11-foot bed on this truck. All right, we're gonna move this truck over to the other shop before we start tearing this bed off. All right, one last look at our rusty flatbed truck. We're gonna turn it over to Josh here for a couple minutes. He's gonna cut bolts, and then we'll get this thing lifted off here. All right, while he's working on that, we're gonna run down to the hog barn, check in down there, make sure everybody's good to go. We've been loading out, and we got 2 more loads this week tomorrow morning on a Saturday morning. Bummer, but last 2 loads were good. We had good weights and the loading went really well, so that was nice. See how this weekend goes. It was raining like crazy this morning here, and it was so warm. I mean, it was like, I walked outside and I did not even need a coat. Earlier this week it was so freezing cold, and just like that, it changed. But now we're not frozen anymore for sure. Got a little bit of a swamp back here. How's it going in here?
Good. Trying not to start any fires. Bolt had landed right by the tire, and all of a sudden, like,
Oh.
well, we got her out.
Nice. Did you get them all cut?
No,
Okay.
this side's quite pain.
All right, I think we're about ready for liftoff. I got the skid loader up here. I'm gonna grab a chain, and I think we're ready to pick this bed off. I got a chain in here. I don't know if that's long enough. This one maybe. All right. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. I got that chain. Let me grab that. Wonder if we can get these D-rings. Yeah. We're gonna use the safety chain loops. on this old hitch to pick this thing up.
Like maybe I can just, I mean, these are taped at best.
Good?
Keep going. Should be good. Good. Successful so far.
Yeah.
Nice. Where'd these chains come from?
The truck. Alrighty. All cleaned off now. A little bit of cleanup work, looks like it. Look at all this stuff in here. Sheesh. Oh my word. This whole top was completely rusted out. That's not good. What's this one look like? Not as bad. I think that it was only connected here where you cut it. And then it ran forward to do the lights up there, yeah.
Yep, I'm with you, sorry.
So in our tail light harness, there's a lot of length here.
Yeah, tons.
I don't know why, I wonder why.
Do they just make a generic harness for any length?
Maybe.
You want me to fish that out around the frame?
I guess.
I don't know if it matters.
Let them all birds be kind to all things. Have a great Friday, have a great weekend.
All right, we made the decision that we are not gonna keep this back tank. This thing is really rough and it appears like it doesn't care if it's there because we unplugged it and the fuel gauge is right, everything, and obviously it wasn't pumping any gas from this tank anyway, so we're gonna get rid of this back tank and all the fuel lines and everything to make it work. And that will simplify our project here.
Have these crazy safety clips and
Storming like crazy out there. Kata's a little freaked out, but look at this. Got it all cleaned up. And old fuel tank is there. The other fuel tank we pushed out of the way. So I think we're ready for the next step. Otherwise, things are looking pretty good here. Frame is fairly clean. Okay, here we go.
Now she's free. So I come back? Yeah. I have 2 square tubing sitting right there.
Yeah.
You should, I got it.
Get that cable out of that room.
Oh, it should be okay. All right, that's what we were going for.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Where are we at?
It's pretty good.
10, 13, 16. I have 111 even.
So it's only 16th out.
You want to do the smart end this time?
No, you can. I trust you. You're smart.
There's your first mistake. You good there?
Yep.
I'm at 13. Yeah. 110, 13, 16 for 111. Oh man, that's like almost exactly 3 feet. Yeah. To the front of that hole. I don't know, that is pretty ripping close.
All right, we got our first section made here.
Say again?
Right in there. I got to do a little grinding, and then it'll fit in. What?
I'm just yelling out in the background of the video, sorry.
All right, well, here's how far we made it today. We got those pieces put in there, and everything is just clamped in place. Nothing's welded yet, but stretched her out. So I was just making some calls about drive shafts. We got to figure out what to do. I think maybe the factory setup on this truck would have had a 2-piece drive shaft. At least that's how our old truck is, 2-piece drive shaft with a carrier bearing in the middle. So we could do that. I thought about maybe even taking that drive shaft off, but that means that truck becomes unusable, and kind of need to keep that thing going until we're ready to swap everything over. So anyway, the drive shaft shop recommended a 1-piece aluminum drive shaft. So that would be pretty awesome. To figure out whether that's worth it or not for farm truck, but some decision making. I think I'm gonna tack this thing together a little bit just to make sure it doesn't move while it's sitting here, and then we're gonna call it for this evening, and we'll get back at it tomorrow. All right, it's the next day. The sun is shining, which is nice. And we're gonna get back at working on the truck here. So I think the next step is to get this cross member moved. So there's a cross member that the fuel tank hangs on. Well, there's 2 cross members that the fuel tank hangs on, but now we have too much space between them. So we're gonna cut this other cross member loose and slide it forward, and then we can hopefully get the fuel tank back in. Got some more welding to do, but I wanted to make sure that we understood where that cross member was gonna go and how it's gonna fit before we weld everything in permanently. So let's get at it. All right, so let's take a look at this cross member here. I'm gonna take off all of our bracing here. I got everything tacked in place, so I think it's gonna stay pretty good. And I think we're okay to take this off. So we need to get all this stuff off out of the way, and then we're gonna cut these rivets out. I'm not sure how this is gonna go, but sometimes these rivets are difficult to get out, even when you cut the head off. So we'll see how it goes here. So I'm fighting a little bit of a cold, that's why I sound a little bit funny, so you'll have to bear with me. Get these things that can move. It's going. All right, that's actually better than I thought it was gonna be. Sometimes those things are so tight that even when you cut the head off, it's like impossible to get the thing out of there. 4 down. Now I need to get the ones on the bottom. All right, I got those rivets heads cut off, but this should be the easy side. Let's see if I can. Perfect. This side over here is gonna be a little bit harder because there's this bracket. See that there? This bracket, I can't quite get in there to cut those heads off very good, so I'll have to see what I can do there. All right, let's see if we can knock this crossmember loose. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to get it all the way down there because of these other rivets that are in here. And I don't think we can spin it out of there. All right, we got this cross member moved up. So that's all ready to go. So we're gonna finish welding that in there first, and then we'll push this back. We'll drill these holes and bolt that thing in. But now we're gonna see if we can make some reinforcement plates that go on the side here, and then we'll weld them in. All right, well, we got her all welded up. Frame's all ready to go. So now it's just a matter of putting it back together. So we got to get the brake lines, the cross member bolted in, and the wiring put back in, and then we're ready for a bed. But that's gonna be it for this week. I gotta get rolling. We gotta go out with some friends tonight. See you guys next week.